This weekend's gospel is the parable about the vine and the branches, where Jesus says, if a branch does not remain connected to the vine, it can't bear fruit. Just like we, if we do not remain connected to Jesus Christ, cannot bring about that good fruit that our world needs, cannot imitate Christ with that compassion and love and forgiveness and all of those attributes that he has. I remember watching a news story once where the correspondent named Bill went to a homeless shelter where they were serving an evening meal. And he dressed as though he were homeless and was quite unshaven and such. And when he got in line, there was a real friendly black gentleman in front of him who turned around and held out his hand and said, "My name is Thomas, what's yours?" And the correspondent said, "Well, Thomas, my name is Bill." And Thomas said, "Nice to meet you. It's good to know your name, because you never know when we might be needing one another." Now, Thomas understood the importance of us as human beings remaining connected to one another. Maybe we won't need something specific or something large from a person today, or maybe even not for the rest of our lives. But Thomas knew what it was to be connected with one another as human beings, to, in a sense, look at that vine of humanity and say each one of us is a branch that is connected to this overall vine, and we need to know that we are in this together, that we are finding our nourishment from the same source, and that we are doing what we can to nourish one another. For just like a branch dies if it is taken off the vine, so do we die a little bit if we do not remain connected to the goodness in others, if we do not remain connected to the community that surrounds us. And I think we've seen that quite a bit during this last 14 months, where yes, our children were online or in Zoom for their education, but how much poorer that was if they weren't able to be in relationship with their fellow students or with their teachers or with the rest of the student population, and how much they craved, and even how much their lives diminished if they did not have that personal connection, if they did not feel like they were in this together, that they were also a part of the group. We saw it in families too, where the elderly especially, who weren't able to have the visitors, how their health and their memory diminished, and what a joy it was for them when they were once again able to have visits from family or hugs from grandchildren. I remember a story told once of a little girl who was afraid, and she went into her mom and dad's bedroom and woke her mom up, and she said, "Mommy, I'm afraid of the dark." And her mom said, "Well, just remember, you're not ever alone because Jesus is always with you." And the little girl said, "I know that, Mommy, but sometimes I need God to have skin." We need that presence of another person. We need that touch from another. We need that relationship, that conversation with another to keep us grounded. Also, we saw that in church, or we're still seeing that in church, where yes, we might be praying together, we might be watching church services online, and yet we're missing the power of the community, the power of common prayer, of that ability to feel uplifted by the singing of someone next to us, to be really absorbed in what the prayers are and focused. We need our God to have skin. We need to remain connected to one another, because that brings about the fullness of life. And of course, we need to remain connected to Jesus Christ, because he is the one who shows us how we are to live. He is the one who strengthens us when we need that. He is the one who forgives us. He's the one who continues to remind us that we are never alone, continues to challenge us to make sure we're doing all that we can to bring about greater justice, greater unity in our world. And so, friends, the invitation is there for us to look at our lives and to look at those areas when perhaps we are kind of a go-it-alone person, where we rely on ourselves, we rely on our own understanding, we rely on our own strength, and to make sure that we realize how much we need one another, how much we need to be in relationship, and how much we need to remain connected to Jesus Christ. I heard a parable from an African nation once that said, when you get to heaven, if you go there alone and come before God by yourself, God will surely ask you, where are your brothers and sisters? A wonderful reminder to us that we really do need to remain connected to one another, to assure that each one of us has that fullness of life, to do everything we can to see that not only us, but that all of those others remain connected to the vine, remain connected to all of those things that are life-giving.